10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Evening, happy Cherries, and thank you for joining us tonight on this first Cherries extra time free-for-all format where you can join in. Follow the link in the description or chat and you can get involved and let us know what you think about today's game. Tonight, AFC Bournemouth took on Crawley in the fourth round of the FA Cup and secured a 2-1 win, and we will now take on Burnley at Turf Moor in the fifth round. Yes. Maybe someone will want to discuss that later. A much improved performance today, more intensity, more energy, better passing, overlapping fullbacks, lots of shots on target, maybe more goals, but it was positive stuff for us to take into Friday. And if you want to get involved, join now. We've got guests already waiting. But before that, why don't you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and like as well. So our first guest to come in and discuss tonight's game will be Craig Beasley. How are you?
Hello, mate. You all right? Yeah, very well, thank you. A lot better, a lot more cheerful than it's been. It's been recently. The good thing is with that result, it leads us back into the league in a little bit more form, a little bit more confidence. I think that was lacking, especially in that little run that we've had of Millwall, Luton, and Derby. So really, 1 point from those three games was completely unacceptable. However, with that result, and to be fair, let's give Crawley a bit of credit here. I think they were very good. I did think they were very, very good. I would be surprised if they wasn't in the mix, if not, promoted at the end of this season, because how they played was very, very well. They put us under a little bit of pressure. I think we had something like 26 shots, but they held out. They were very good defensively, and I think. Before we, go on to our team, got to give them a bit of credit. They do, they don't play like a League Two side. They play more like a League One side. And I think, they'd give some of the Championship teams a run for their money. But yeah, thank God we got through that.
Absolutely. And we'll discuss the game in more detail in a moment. We'll bring in more guests now to fill up the room. We'll bring in someone who's had a very good day today, and I'm sure he's going to have a happy smile on his face, and that's Mr. Morgan Scott. How are you?
Hey, Morgan.
Hello.
How's your day been?
It's been a busy 12 hours, I'll put it that right. I put a hat on because the hair's starting to not look good for the media debut, so yeah. But it's been a busy... it's been a busy 12 hours. It started about 9:30 this morning when I got that little phone call from Steve Cook, and then from there it's just got better and better and better. So yeah, and it's a pleasure to come on and talk to you guys. So thank you for having me on.
Excellent. And if you haven't seen it already, if you head over to Back of the Net, you'll see that Morgan, he had a phone call from Steve Cook today, and he discussed that with Sam Davis. So check that out after this, or maybe tomorrow. We'll fill the room up and we'll bring in a young cherry in Daniel. How are you?
Good.
Hey, Daniel.
Hi.
I bet you enjoyed that game, Daniel.
Yeah, we needed it because I was really upset that we haven't been winning. We can tell everyone has been upset because of last Back of the Net. Nothing positive out of that Derby game. So I guess it brings confidence. Hopefully we get a good result against Reading. If we even draw, I feel like that would be good for our first league game. It's just a lot of pressure because we want to win. And winning against the lower teams isn't really the best for us. So hopefully we play today, a little bit like that, and then we kind of win or draw.
Excellent. Let's go back to the start then, Morgan. So when you saw the squad and the lineup, was you surprised?
Yeah, very, very surprised. I actually, I think it might have been a superstition. I actually missed it for the first time. I'm normally sat on Twitter refreshing it, and I think I saw it about 3 minutes past 6. And when I had a look, a few names that I was very surprised to see: Asmir Begovic, David Brooks, even people like Lloyd Kelly. I wasn't surprised. Some people might argue Steve Cook. Why? Maybe they would have rested him. Lewis Cook as well. But you need some leadership in the team that we have had. We have had so many issues in the last few games, so it's good to have the leadership. And it's just, I think what was really good is that we had someone, Josh Kin, for example, tonight. We'll probably talk about it in more depth in a minute, but I think he looked really, really up for it tonight. And I saw the fight that he wanted to kind of still be an AFC Bournemouth player. Now, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but what I do know is I saw a lot of passion and determination from him. Yes, okay, some people might argue he should have scored a few more chances, but it wasn't a bad performance and he got a goal. So that's much better by Josh Kin.
And when that squad lineup was released, Craig, was you happy to see a back four come back?
Yeah, most definitely. I've been crying out for it. To be fair, in the most recent games, I think it gives us a little bit more stability, a little bit more. Even though that has worked in the past, the formation that we used against Derby, to be honest, that was a lot more like it. To be fair, just going back to your point, Morgan, I was thinking about this over the past couple of days and thinking, right, okay, we've got Reading coming up, a very solid side, a side that people expected to fall away, but they really haven't. They've got some quality players in their squad as well. And to be fair, I'm not surprised actually that Jason's put out a strong starting 11 today. The reason being is I think Jason was, after that Derby game, and who could blame him, was like, right, okay, if you want to be considered for a game which is a 6-pointer, there's no denying that. If we get beat by Reading, it's, well, how many points does that put us behind? It could be a big bridged gap. Big gap to bridge, I should say, or however you put it. But I think, what he wanted to do was see those players respond and pull up their socks and say, right, okay, we want this. And to be fair, it wasn't a giant killing, or a big, result that we expected with that lineup. But you've got to give Crawley credit. They did, get stuck in. They're a very good side. I'm surprised actually. They're as low as they are in the league. I know they're not far from the playoff places, but I think they would have given a lot of teams. I think they would have given Derby a run for their money, if not beaten Derby playing like that.
You can see why at home when they played Leeds, you can see why they did so well. And obviously being at home, that would have helped them. So they definitely put up a good fight. And we'll go in more depth as sort of chronologically of the game as we go on. So if you'd like to join us on here and give us your thoughts, just copy that link into the URL, pick up some headphones and just put your name in and I will bring you into the show and love to hear from you. Daniel, when you saw Jack Wilshere on the team sheet, did that put a smile on your face?
Yeah, he was one of those players that I'll say most of the people thought he was going to start so he can get ready to play in the league. I feel like it was good. Everyone loved to see him. It was like Back at the Net said it was kind of sad that the fans weren't there for his first goal, but it was like very nice. I feel like he will be a player we will need sometimes, and today was the day he made a big impact to the team.
So, Morgan, we've been dominant of the football in most games this season, and through this spell of the last few games, we've always dominated possession. What we've struggled to do is make use of that possession in an effective way. And I thought early on, our passing instantly, we were trying to go forward. We were trying to take out midfielders out of the game and trying to pick up players like Danjuma, Brooks and King. And we had a spring in our step. Did you feel that's how it was going before we scored the first goal?
Yeah, absolutely, Kirk. And I think Danjuma, from the first minute, I thought he looked really sharp, match fit. I thought he looked... Jason Tyndall's been saying for weeks he's almost ready. I think he's definitely in contention to start. If he doesn't start against Reading after his performance, I think we got, 60 minutes out of him tonight. I thought he was excellent. Same with... same with Josh King, to be honest with you. I think he hasn't done I think he might have given Jason Tyndall a bit of a headache because he's been knocking at the door. You know, he scored. He's also he had numerous of opportunities. Okay, maybe some would say could have done better. It's a confidence thing. It took Solanke a long time. We know. There's been a lot of talk. Maybe he was focused away from the club. David Brooks. He's my favourite Bournemouth player. I haven't ever not said that. Tonight, again, not quite on his game. When David Brooks is having a brilliant game, he's creating everything. He's driving. He's penetrational in the final third. Again, I think it was a good... what did he play tonight? 90. Good to get another 90 minutes under his belt. He hasn't completed too many of them in the last 18 months or 2 years. However... it's still not the best David Brooks we have, and to be honest with you, he might find himself dropping out of the into maybe the sub bench to rest against Reading, because I think there are other players at this time ahead of him, and that isn't a bad thing. You know, we haven't had this fully fit squad for some time. Go on, Gray.
To be honest, though, if Brooks is fit, you know, we have to. I think we have to start Brooks because of what he can do. His form recently has been very, very poor. So I was hoping and expecting a little bit more as soon as he was named on that lineup. And I think Jason will drum it into him that he needs to have, you know, a very, very good game against Reading because, like I say, we're coming up against a team now who are going to be in the mix. You know, they're not going away. I think the top six as they are, you know, I think, you know, I thought Middlesbrough might break into the top six. And, you know, I know Tom Jordan said about Stoke and Reading dropping out. It doesn't seem like Reading's going anywhere, I think. So those teams around us, we have to get, you know, 3 points against now, because every point that we drop against these teams, you know, be it, you know, if it's Norwich, if it's Brentford, if it's Watford, you know, every point is going to make our job more difficult, you know, if we drop points to them. However, on the spin side, if we can beat teams like that, you know, it puts us in a lot stronger position. And Norwich's lead, although it looks a lot at the moment, you know, all it takes is a little good run of form. And we've got some decent games coming up. You know, after the Reading game, we've got a decent little run coming up where you would think, right, we should go on a bit of a run now. Hopefully it can chip away at Norwich's lead.
And just coming back to this game, Craig, and talking about the first goal, that there was there was a positive link up there. I think it had Danjuma, Josh King had a little assist, and Jack Wilshere, he didn't actually ever score for us on his first spell, and he got a beautiful first goal. What did you think about that move?
Yeah, I thought it was very good. Danjuma's awareness was fantastic. So he passed it over to Josh King. Josh King, you know, it looked like he had the faintest of touches, but that faintest of touch slowed it down for Wilshere just to be able to strike it home. And to be honest, I think a lot of goalkeepers, you know, whoever, you know, was between the sticks for Crawley, you know, would have struggled with that. I think it was very, very well struck. You know, it was beautiful. It was curling away from the keeper as well, so it had a bit of a bend on it. Yeah, absolutely fantastic strike. You know, it might not be the likes of what Charlie Daniels did against Man City a couple of years ago, but
I thought
you
you
know,
might have
it
hit
was
me. I was behind that.
very good.
Can I just come back for half a second, if I may?
Go on.
When you say that Brooksy for you has to start against Reading, now I wasn't trying to sound critical of David Brooks, but when you look at the likes of Dan Juma's performance tonight, so have him out on one of the position, maybe Solanke up top, and then even Josh King in the wide position, which I think there was a good game there's so many games at the moment, I can't remember what let alone what game it was again, but if David Brooks came off the bench with someone like maybe a Sam Surridge or Roro or something like that and had an impact on the game and changed the game, then would that be more beneficial at the moment? Because I remember a game against Man City where we played very well, and I think David Brooks and Callum Wilson came off the bench in about the 65th to 70th minute, I think my mind's telling me. And Callum Wilson sweated it, and okay, it was a tap-in for David Brooks, but they had a massive impact, and we could have won that game because we were playing so good football. Or do you think that would be more beneficial, Craig, than starting him against Reading, having an impact sub like David Brooks' quality? Because I reckon we would get more in maybe 20, 30 minutes out of him than we would in 90 at the moment.
It's a good question, Morgan. I personally think he remains the strongest player in that right position. Yes, he's been on a bad run of form, but he will know how important this game is and how he needs to turn up. You know, if it's not going well for him, you know, the big question for me is, when do we change it? I think Dan Juma after tonight does have to start, you know, and I think he is the natural choice after Stanislas's injury. So I think he has to start against Reading. I think Brooks, I would start him, but we have to see, you know, how the game pans out. One thing that, you know, I would question is with Josh King, you know, where do we fit him in? Because, you know, my thought, and we said this a couple of weeks ago after Stanislas got injured, and I believe it was the Luton game I mentioned it for, you know, and I thought, well, why don't we put Josh King on the left? You know, I would have rather Josh King there than Roro. Dan Juma, I believe, played in that game. Just thinking back to it, but I think Brooks has to start. I think Brooks has to start because, you know, he knows, and one piece of magic, you know, can really do harm. But we've also got to look at the defence for that game as well, because you look at, and you'll see it in the opposition preview show that I do on Back of the Net. One thing that I've picked out is Lucas Yao for Reading, and he scored 17 goals in 19 games, which is a ridiculous return. Now, the problem with him is he had a very, very frustrating Sunday afternoon the other day. And when you look at his stats, you know, if he goes without scoring, he normally grabs a couple in the following game.
Let's just bring it back to this game and obviously just wrap up. That's all right, because I'm sure we'll come to Reading later. What we're going to do is switch up in a minute, because we have got people waiting backstage, and obviously we want to utilise this as much as possible. Finally, with you then, Daniel. Firstly, after Jack Wilshere scored, and lately we've not enjoyed many shots on goal. Was it nice to see us having a few shots on goal? And who did you think was man of the match today?
Yeah, you love to see someone score after we haven't won a game since the last FA Cup. So it was very like a good feeling. We haven't won in a long time, and we want to win the match. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's either between King or Billing, because Billing was playing not that bad in the first half. I feel like King was more aggressive, like going after, but like not like making the shots all the time. But I feel like we need to work on our passing. But for now, I'm gonna say man of the match, Joshua King.
Brilliant. Thanks for coming on, Daniel, and I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Cheers,
See
mate.
you later. Sorry there, Morgan. Took you out. But what did who would you give man of the match today? And do you want to wrap up that game and what you thought?
God, sorry, I'm a bit knackered. It's been a crazy 12 hours or so, coming up to 13 hours in. But no, it's still going strong. I thought the game was quite. It's going to be hard to. I don't know. It's hard to analyse because Crawley, to their credit, like they were good. You know, they came to give us a game, and I thought they were excellent. I thought, you know, you look at a few things. So you look at Asmir Begovic, 6'6", very, very good keeper, if not a world-class goalkeeper, probably the best in the Championship, and you could argue a contention in the Premier League. You look at Josh King on his day tonight. He came to play. He was excellent. David Brooks, world-class player. Dan Juma, also, I wouldn't quite go world-class, but he's not a bad player to have in reserve, is he? And then Lewis Cook, Steve Cook, the leader, Jefferson Lerm on the bench, Roro Rukame getting into the mix. I thought the game in itself, you know, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, fair play to Crawley. I thought they came to play. I thought in terms of a performance, I think Bournemouth might be a bit annoyed. I thought Bournemouth could have scored maybe, I think we had 26 shots in that game. Kurt, you're normally good with stats, am I correct?
Yeah, it was about that.
26.
About 10 on target.
And we scored 2. Now, Josh King probably should have had a hat-trick. And then there should have been maybe, I know, a few other players. I think Steve Cook had a header. I don't know how he didn't score, if I'm honest. But I'm not going to criticise after the phone call that we had today. But yeah, no, it's just been, in itself, an all-round good day. And now we get to go to Turf Moor, which Jordan North says it's the happy place. And let's hope this time VAR works in our favour and gives us a goal and takes one of theirs away.
Man the match,
Morgan.
before I let you go.
Go on, Craig. What was that?
No, I say to Morgan.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, Morgan, man the match before you go.
Man of the match. Josh King, I thought he had a good game today.
No, it's 2 out of 2. Morgan, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much
See you
for
soon.
having me, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, guys.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Cheers. Craig, I'm going to bring you back in a bit at the end.
Yeah, I was going to say to Morgan that Turf Moor will never be a happy place. Let's be fair. It's a pain in the arse of a place to go to.
Exactly. Let's stay backstage and I'll bring you back later.
Yeah, all right, mate. No problem.
Okay, guys, so if you want to join in, just there should be a link in the chat. So just pick up some headphones, stick the link into the URL, pop your name in, and I will bring you into the show. If you want to sponsor us as well, you can. You can buy us a coffee on the link that you're seeing on the screen right now. What we're trying to do is bring some more enjoyment to Cherries fans, and any sponsorship goes towards improving our audio and our visuals as well, so you can enjoy it a lot better. So 2 more people to bring in, and we've got Steve Hensman. How are you?
Evening, mate. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. And John Spark, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, lads. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good, John.
Steve, squad lineup. What do you think?
Wow, I was quite taken aback, to be honest. I was expecting a lot more of a blend of youth and experience than what we got tonight. We got pretty much a strongest 11 we could put out, bar a couple maybe. But yeah, they're quite taken aback by that. Shows his intent, I suppose, with and maybe it's a way of trying to get back into winning ways.
And is it all positive, John, or was there a lot of risk involved?
Risk. That's a word I hadn't thought about. Yes, I mean you could argue, but in terms of how necessary is it for us to win, do well in, get anything from this game? Obviously, I was taken aback as well. Like Steve said, I did not expect quite such a strong lineup. But I think unlike, because Morgan mentioned before, it's hard to analyze that game. I would say that's the exact kind of game you want to analyze in terms of how Bournemouth are going to do in the next few games. because that was almost the strongest lineup we could have put out. Arguably, it was, depending on how vital you think Dominic Solanke is. But apart from that, Stacey at right back, Rico left back, Kelly, you could argue maybe Cameron Carter-Vickers or Mepham maybe at the back, but really maybe Lerma in the middle. But that was like, bar one or two players, that was the strongest lineup we could have put out. And I'm glad to see that that was a good test run to see what we're capable of against a team that isn't as strong as the one we're going to face in the Championship. I think Craig was right. That was that looked like a League One side. That didn't look like a League Two side. Crawley did impress me in how well they defended, but it's still not the level that we're playing at the moment. And what is essentially a Premier League side, what we put out was good. There was a lot of decent build-up. I like the rotation. Stacey got forward more. Rico got forward more. There were a lot of things I could say were positive up until about the 25-yard mark in their half. And then same old Bournemouth of the last month, really, unfortunately. Let's say we played a good final ball 1 in 5 as opposed to 1 in 20. So there's some positives, but it's against a team like Reading that we're going to be coming up against. That needs to be better for us to really start to push back on again. So some positives, but still, more to come.
And we've talked about the first half, Steve, Jack Wilshere goal. And as you go into the second half, it felt like just after about 50 minutes, we had a 10-minute spell where we looked a little bit shaky at the back. Begovic is arguably be one of our better players and probably got away with a dodgy decision in trying to play out from the back. And then the penalty decision, which was, I think he got booked for diving. I mean, I'm not sure about that. And then they finally did score. They were definitely knocking on the door. Was that a concern?
Yeah, it was. We seem to regress back into that sort of coasting attitude again, where we thought we're better than this team. We just play our football and it would be okay. Like you said, Begovic got caught out, which was unnecessary. I think it was a penalty personally. When I saw it in real time, I thought it was a penalty. I saw it in the replay, I thought it was a penalty. I think that's a problem with Kelly. I think he's very naive at times with what he does in a defensive situation. He's been lucky on a couple of occasions, previous games, to not have been sent off or to give away penalties. Watford springs to mind. And we did. We looked very shaky. And all I could put it down to, because we were passing the ball around really nicely, playing very well. The tempo was up, as we said. We were full passing from side to side all the time. We just seemed to take our foot off the gas that little period, and we got stung. And fair play to Crawley, because they were throwing the kitchen sink at us for that period of time. And
I went for 3-1. I did see them scoring a goal because I think they have scored.
I'm quite angry about the 3-1. I had that in my Super Six, and I couldn't believe we didn't score another one.
And John, Steve brings up a good point about Lloyd Kelly, which I was going to bring up as well. I thought actually, I think it was a penalty as well, in my opinion, but there was quite a few times that he got caught in behind where the striker ran behind him. And actually, I thought he didn't look as quick as he probably is or was. And what did you think of Lloyd Kelly tonight? Because I think he did look shaky at times.
Yeah, Lloyd Kelly's a bit of a mystery to me at the moment, to be honest. Because particularly his pace, as you were talking about, he looks like he should be fast. And, from whatever scout reports, he's always been he's always been put down as a pacey player that's played left back and can play at centre back. And he really strikes me as the kind of person that should have a high top speed, should be able to, maybe not has the acceleration of, your smaller players, but it fascinated me that he, in the Millwall game, it really stuck with me. He got outran by Jed Wallace on that one instance. And Jed Wallace is a creative player. He might be, well built, but he shouldn't be outrunning Kelly, as far as I'm concerned, even if Kelly is a defender and he's an attacker. And it's just, you notice it, I think, in that play, that occasionally Kelly just decides to not sprint when he should. It looks like, particularly for that one there, where I agree, it probably should have been a penalty. It would have been it definitely wasn't a dive, but it probably should have been a penalty. Kelly doesn't sprint. There's a point at which they're about level-ish, and Kelly doesn't look like he's sprinting. And I just think, your last man, there's 2 paces before he takes a shot off. I want you going as hard as you can to make sure you get to that ball before he does. And I don't know whether it's the way he looks when he's running, but it just doesn't look like he's always sprinting when he should. And you know, it is a worry if he's not, you know, if he's not able to make those tackles or make the right decisions at the right time. And it's not, he's not necessarily getting, we're not necessarily getting 100% from them, I don't think, in all times. It's odd. I'm just not sure what to make of it at the moment.
I agree. If you'd like to join us, we're probably going to go for about another 20-25 minutes. The link you'll see on the screen right now, just place that link in there, pick up some headphones, put your name in, and I'll bring you in and let us know your thoughts. We got through that spell then, Steve. We conceded the goal, but then we picked up the pace again. And I actually thought Danjuma was his old self. We were finding him in pockets between the defence and midfield. He was one-on-one with players, and I think we've struggled to get him one-on-one since he's come back. And King really looked like he was hungry for a goal tonight.
Yeah, he did, very much so. Probably for his own, you know, a bit selfish at times, Josh, but he looked like he was crying out for a goal, and it was the sort of game that, you know, he'd like to think I'm sure he'd like to think he could get a couple, which he only got one. And he took it very well. And he also got the assist of the earlier goal. So all round, good night for Josh. Just, you know, whether he's going to stick with us or not is the sort of the point there, isn't it? It's I think I'd like to see him stay, but I just got a funny feeling he'll go. But as for tonight, yeah, Danjuma was he was getting back to it, wasn't he? He was getting back to the levels we've seen. He was, you know, he was taking people. I mean, so did Josh, to be honest. He run that Tunnicliffe, you know, a couple of times, squared him up and just beat him for pace. So yeah, good signs from our front three tonight.
Right, we'll go 4 ways, and I'll bring in another Cherry. And yeah, a bit of I wonder what this Cherry thinks about the game today. And that's Heather. How are you, Heather?
I'm good, thank you.
And Phil Billing Phil Billing had a start for you, and how excited was you? How excited was you when you saw that starting lineup?
Very. I got my 2 favourites in there, so I was happy.
And Jack Wilshere goal?
Yeah, amazing. Well, I've never seen him play before, so.
And actually, we'd never seen him score before either, so you hadn't missed anything. Great player for us the first time, got a couple of assists, but we have been waiting for that goal. So it was great to see him. What did you think of Phil Billing's performance tonight?
He did a little bit of his running around like a headless chicken, but not too much. I think he was getting the ball, and it seemed better than the last few games. They were actually getting the ball to the 2 people at the front, or the 3 people at the front, rather than playing around with it at the back. Because a few times, the last few games, it looked like a 5-a-side match just at the back of the team. Okay,
then, John. So Sean Cooper, I think, took the pre-match warm-up today, and they came out full of beans with more enthusiastic passing, more energy, wanted to go back to front more quickly. Are we reading anything into the potential Graham Jones going somewhere else?
Well, I think that's pretty much confirmed that Graham Jones is probably off. He's probably in Newcastle right now, whether he's agreeing terms or whether he's finalising a deal or whether he's eventually going to say no. You know, the rumours are certainly that he's off. So unfortunately, we're just going to move on from that. And whether Sean Cooper gets pulled into the first team setup, you know, we'll see. I think it's difficult to read whether that made any difference to how we played. I think playing 4-3-3 just helped us off the bat. I think it was evident that the ball was being played. I think what was maybe possibly a little bit that might go unnoticed was the passes across the back line were automatically quicker as a result. I think that was the one thing that we as a team, when we've historically used width a lot, you need to get the ball. If you're going to get the ball from right to left, you need to do it in as quickly as possible, with as fewer touches as possible. And by only having to go make 2 passes to get it from right to left or vice versa, we were able to play that a lot quicker. And I think David Brooks, as much as he wasn't as influential as we'd liked him to be, a lot of misplaced passes, a lot of poor touches, he was able to get more involved, I think, because Stacey was more proactive on the right and getting forward than Smith was. But with Stacey overlapping so frequently, it really allowed Brooks to get involved more inside, because he really, when he's on his own out there, he's not doing enough. I think Brooks was doing his best Jordan Ive impression at times on the right hand side there, just standing with the ball, looking at the opposite player and not really doing anything with it. And as much as Dan Juma does do that, Dan Juma will wait 3 seconds to decide what he's going to do and then just go past him. And Brooks doesn't have the pace to do that, whereas Dan Juma does. So it's I think the formation was very positive. I hope that they do that against Reading. And you know, it was rare that we have our 2 centre backs up against 2 strikers. That really, it was a 2-on-2 every time they wanted to counter, and we mostly dealt with that, apart from that 10-15 minute spell at the beginning of the second half. But
scored a good second goal, Steve. Tell me, how did we not score more?
Well, like I said earlier, I don't quite know. I did get a little bit frustrated with a few expletives.
I mean, do you think they're feeling the pressure? I mean, we scored a lot of goals this season. I think we're at 1.8. I mean, I might be just relating to Championship, but we're at 1.8 per game goal rate, and we've now dropped down to, I think, 0.52 in the last 6 games. Do you think they're feeling the pressure of trying to hit that target or score goals? Because I'm just good to see us. I just thought, with the wet conditions as well, just shoot tonight. And that's what they did. And a lot of them didn't go on target. I mean, Lewis Cook had a few that went high and wide. But just to see him having pot shots put a little smile on my face. Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's just something, you know, we need to sort of get away from. I know everyone keeps reminding us it all the time, what is second highest league scorers. But maybe it is a bit of a monkey on the back, like the beginning of the season when we hadn't lost the game. You know, we kept getting the draws, and we say, "Oh, we haven't lost," and then we got rid of that monkey off our back. So maybe that's the same sort of thing. But like you said, it was encouraging. Arnie, I think, created so much space, and his movement was really good, and he was taking players out of the game, and so was Josh King. Equally, I don't really frustrated with Brooks again. Don't know where he's gone. I mean, even he just every time he did something, he was sort of shouting at himself and having a little frustrated, sort of fist bumps and stuff.
The only thing I'd say about Brooks is he's getting himself in positions, and he'll probably be disappointed that he didn't score tonight. But he had some.
It's frustration, wasn't it? A lot of the time, you could see he was angry with himself. I mean, he had a snapshot on the edge of the box. I think Josh King was just in front of him, and he dragged it wide. And he just seems a frustrated soul at the moment. So maybe, you know, with this, if we do adopt this 4-3-3 and go a bit more positive into these games, you know, sooner or later he's going to get a chance, and hopefully that you know, he'll get his mojo back.
Definitely. We talked a little bit about Begovic having a funny 5 minutes, Heather, but he still had a brilliant game tonight, and he's still making some crucial saves. What did you think of our goalkeeper again?
Well, you can't really fault him other than you say that weird thing that he did.
Yeah.
He's, I don't know what went from there.
He was too casual when he got the ball there. I think
he just went for a little wonder, didn't he?
I think he thought he had more time than he actually did. But with him and Steve Cook, we've got 2 leaders at the back there that are going to be crucial to whatever we achieve this season, I think. Would you agree, Heather?
Yeah, Steve Cook, and I'd like to see Cameron Carter-Vickers play some more as well. I thought he was really good the last couple of games.
Definitely. Man of the match tonight, and what's your team rating out of 10?
I'll give my man of the match to Josh King.
That's it. And a 3 out of 3, that is.
Not for me.
No.
I'll give them 8 out of 10.
Brilliant. Thanks for coming on, Heather. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
You'll be watching the game on Friday.
Definitely.
And we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thank
Cheers.
you. Take care.
Oh, cut her off there. Yeah, so John as well, the fullbacks, as you say. So Stacey and Rico, a lot more progressive tonight. Lots of overlaps. Just got to that final part. And Rico not making the great decisions at the moment.
Yeah, quite a few times. Early on in particular, he wasn't making quite as many good decisions. I thought he got a lot more good crosses into the box this time round. I think it was last match. I don't remember. Last match he was in from the start. I don't remember him putting in a good cross all game. So at least there were quite a few that were tempting, either behind the defensive line or just in front of them. He was still has a lot of consistency to find, but it was good to see him getting forward and getting into those positions. I think him and Danjuma can create a partnership down that left wing. Certainly, if it's not Danjuma, I think him and Roro have a very good connection down the left. Whatever games Roro gets, unfortunately, he's just not going to start ahead of Danjuma at the moment. And yeah, Stacey doing what we all know that he will do when he was going to come back in the squads. Just getting forward more. His balls as well into the box need a little bit more consistency as well. But again, him and Brooks can form a relationship down that right hand side. They just need to get a bit more game time together, I think, and we might actually start seeing us make more from crosses.
So what we'll do in a minute, we'll go 5 ways and we'll go into the last 10 or 15 minutes and we'll look at Burnley and we'll look at Reading. But just to finish up tonight, Steve, man the match and your team rating.
I'm going to give us a 7. I think we were never really in that much danger. Our class really, I don't think we were anywhere near full tilt either. I think our class got us through that game. And my man of the match is going to be Mr. Wilshere.
Okay.
Because gets himself a goal, and definitely. I just loved watching him link. That first half, I know he came off after 60, but first half, I just thought it was great seeing him link up, playing little 1-2s around the corner with Josh and whoever else was around. No, I really enjoyed him. It's the Jack effect.
and we've got Rich waiting backstage, and I'll bring Rich in a moment. John, what's your rating out of 10 and your man of the match?
I'll just copy Steve. It says 7 out of 10 and Jack Wilshere. I think there's a few players you could have given man of the match to. I think Steve Cook. If Steve Cook had scored that free header, I would have given him man of the match. I thought he was epic at the back.
That's why I didn't give it to him, John.
Exactly.
That would have been my 3-1.
I think Lewis Cook had another good game. I thought Billing was good. I thought King was great, as was Danjuma. But just for me, Wilshere, I think only lost the ball once early on in the first half. And one particular moment where he just no-touched it and sold the dummy on 2 players right on the edge of our own corner box. I just, so nice to see him in the team, so composed, plays it simple when he needs to. Just everything about the way he plays, I just love to see. And I don't remember him putting a foot wrong and getting a goal. Yeah, definitely got to be Wilshere.
Brilliant. And we'll close it out in a moment. I'm going to bring Rich in now. How are you doing, Rich?
Hello, mate. I'm good. How is everyone?
Was that brilliant.
Good.
Did you enjoy that a little bit better tonight?
I did, yeah. I was pleasantly surprised when I saw the lineup, to be fair. But to be fair, I think if you'd gone with a younger squad or, not the team that we went with Dennis and goal or something, I think we probably would have lost it, to be fair.
What did you think about our application to tonight's game and how we approached it and started the football match, especially in the first half?
Well, it's definitely been better than the last couple of games. I still don't think it was quite there. But seeing Wilshere in there, as the other guys touched on, I think that was a definite positive. I could see, every time that he wanted to make a pass forward or whatever, he got who's trying to pass to him. I mean, look at Brooks, for example. He didn't today, and we've been missing someone like that in the midfield, I think. So I was really happy with Wilshere today, and to be fair, quite a few of them put in an effort today.
And what's your thoughts, Rich, on Josh King's performance? Transfer window's not shut yet. We still don't know. It'll probably go down to the last minute like it has done the last few.
Yeah.
But what did you think about Josh King tonight?
Well, I've never been against him, to be fair. It's easy to say now, but all the way through, I've liked Josh King. And, if he'd gone, fair play to him, but he has stayed. He hasn't done what others has done in the past. I think he's still to the best visibility because we don't know how much the illness has affected him and things like that. I mean, he's had, maybe he did break his toenail a couple of games, but I think he definitely.
It's a good point you make there.
COVID, etc. And you see other teams that have been struggling with the effects of that. So I think he's coming back to fitness now. And as I said a while ago, we need to just give him a chance, play him, and see how he gets on. If he stays, which I personally think he will stay now, and go in the summer. Try play between now and the summer and go for a big move in the summer. That's what I think he wants. But we never know. Someone might come in, but I don't think so now.
No, and if you haven't seen our Cherries transfer talk on our YouTube channel, we know the audio's a little bit echoey, but it does improve the further you watch it. But if you do check that one out with myself and Steve, I think we disagree on that one because I don't know if he's changed his mind now, but I think Steve went for Josh King to leave.
I still think he's off.
You still think he's off, but check that out on our YouTube channel. So what we'll do is we'll bring.
That's the main reason, to be honest, because I need to disagree with Steve every time I can. So that's half of the reason.
At least the feeling in your water was all right tonight, Rich.
I've always been right with that, Steve, haven't I? To be fair, I haven't let you down. When I said we wouldn't win, we haven't won, and it's going well so far. My waters are good.
Before we bring Craig and Morgan back in, your man of the match tonight, Rich, and your team rating.
Well, after bigging him up, I'm going to have to go King, aren't I? So let's go King. I mean, he did have a good game. He took the goal, took his goal well. I'll go 7.5. Let's go 7.5 today.
You can't copy Steve then. All right, let's see if we can go 6 ways then. So we'll bring Craig back into it, and we'll also bring Morgan in. There we go. Look at that. Right. So we're in the 5th round. We're in the 5th round versus
I ain't got one.
We're in the 5th round versus Burnley. The last time we went to Burnley, there were some dodgy decisions, probably contributed towards our relegation. Morgan, how are you feeling about that? Karma, surely got to be on our side this time.
Kirk, they're going to get a goal and then they're going to disallow it for handball, and then we're going to go down the other end and we're going to score, and it's going to be offside, and then they're going to give it for VAR.
I feel like I've gone back 3 years.
And Craig, do you play Adam Smith? Is it too much of a risk?
Against Reading or Burnley?
No, let's talk. We're talking about Burnley. We'll come to Reading in a moment. So, would you play Adam Smith?
Reading. He loves Reading. Yeah. Come on.
I would go Rico left, Stacey right, and
so you won't play Smith?
No. Sorry, that was the arse end way around it, wasn't it? Let's be fair.
So we're now a championship side, John. Burnley, a Premier League team, sort of on and off, but they had a big result at Liverpool. There's not much between the teams. We should fancy ourselves to go and do something. Here's the FA Cup.
Absolutely. I mean, we've already beaten a team from the Premier League this season in Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace are certainly doing better than Burnley were. But I don't know. I think we favour playing against higher ranked teams, but Burnley don't play like a team ranked higher than us necessarily. I think Burnley's ability on the ball is underrated, very much so, but we know what we're going to get from Burnley. So, it really could be anything. I'd love us to win and get further. I mean, we've only been to this stage of the FA Cup 5 times in our history.
Well, I was going to say,
would be wonderful.
Yeah, well, I was going to say to Steve, I don't think we've ever made the quarterfinals in our history.
No, I think this is about as far as we've ever gone, isn't it?
We will this year.
And
sorry?
And as we get closer to, Yeah, I mean, as we get closer to that game, Steve, and depending on what happens in our championship fixtures between now and then, can you see him prioritising this or playing a strong side again?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, that, isn't it? Because if we start getting a run of games together and we start picking up points and we start getting back amongst those automatic promotion places again, you could see him thinking that the FA Cup's going to be a bit of a distraction, an unwanted distraction. But having said that, tonight shows that he is taking it serious to some extent to play that side. So, Burnley could easily turn up and play a second string team. And if we are in a position where we can afford to do that, I think he will go for it. So, yeah, it could be an interesting one. I think we could, if Burnley put out a second string team, we could get a result quite easily.
And Rich, it would be something that Eddie always got criticised for, not really doing that well in the FA Cup. It would be going a step further in his first year in management at Bournemouth.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, also going back to Reading, Burnley.
Shut up about Reading.
Burnley. The other thing, are bullies, aren't they? So I don't want to play too many, get people injured like Danjuma or Wiltshire or Brooks. That's the thing you got to weigh up against. It's winning, but also do you want, maybe to lose a couple of players as well. So it's one of those things, isn't it?
And probably how I feel as we get closer to that game, John, between now and then, and we're probably going to have to find that. I'm going to use one of Sam Davis's words, clinicality, because we won't get 26 chances against Burnley. So hopefully between now and then, we need to try and find that clinical edge, because if we do get one or two chances, we're going to have to take them.
Yeah. I foresee us not playing a stronger side against Burnley for the reasons that were mentioned before. I think the strength of the squad that was put out today was purely for practical reasons, that we haven't played well, we need a win, and we can't risk not getting a win tonight, purely for the positivity of the squad going forward. Whereas now that we've reached the fifth round, that's probably, if there was any sort of target for the squad, fifth round is as high as the target would have been for how we get far in the FA Cup. So there's no real pressure on us going against Burnley, and we could do with playing the likes of maybe Kilkenny, maybe Zamora, maybe even Namdi, just to get them a bit of time, maybe one or two youngsters. Whereas going forward in the league, we need to prioritise the league from now on, because if we don't start picking up results, particularly in our next fixture, then we're going to be out of the automatic race relatively soon. So I don't see us playing as quite a strong a squad against Burnley.
And from a fan point of view, sorry, Rich.
So I was just going to ask John, who are we playing next? I've forgotten.
I'll come to it in a minute.
Some team that are in blue and white hoops, something like that.
From a fan point of view, from a fan point of view, we'd obviously want to go as far as we can go. Maybe get a day out. Well, we wouldn't get a day out at Wembley, I shouldn't think, and in the semi-finals if we could dream that far. But like you come to, John, the monetary value of, like, I think it's $1.5 million if you win the FA Cup. So I don't know what it is if you go out in the quarters or whatever. But comparing that to the hundreds of millions you get to go into the Premier League, that's going to be ultimately more important, you think, to the hierarchy at the club.
Yeah, exactly. It's the money. The money is in promotion. The money is not in the cup, and that's I'm sure how the hierarchy will see it, and that's, I imagine how that JT will see it, and he knows if we don't go up, it's going to be a massive refresh of the squad. There's too many Premier League quality players in this squad that are going to stick around for longer than this season. Lewis Cook, Arnaud Danjuma, Josh King, Phil Bill, Jefferson Lerma, Steve Cook, literally the entire squad are capable of playing in a mid-table Premier League side. So if we don't go up, he knows what's going to happen. And that's the fact of the matter, really.
Thanks for everyone who's been joining us tonight. We're going to wrap this up in about 5 minutes' time, but we can't go away from thinking about Friday. So, Morgan, do you think JT would have the players in tomorrow morning, start figuring out if there's any knocks, any niggles? What does he do on Friday? Does he go with a strong, that team again? Because I don't think it's going to be far away from it, really.
I think we should go 4-4-2. I really do think we should go 4-4-2. And I say that because okay, with all due respect, that was we dominated. In the end, we came through it. But I think Reading's going to be a different test. They're going to be up for it. It's a league game. And also, I'm not sure how they got on in the FA Cup. Maybe are they out? I don't know if they had any extra preparation time.
I think they lost to Luton.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So they lost to Luton, but. So where are we? So tomorrow, Wednesday, 24:48, 72 hours, and it's away, ain't it? So that's not a lot of preparation time. Probably the lads will be in. They might get an extended. They might be in tomorrow afternoon. I'm not sure, but maybe get in tomorrow afternoon. Yeah,
stick on to the positives though, because we've got a good record at Medeski, and if you check into my preview on Thursday night with Tom Jordan, we'll reveal all. So yeah. But how do you feel about Friday's game? Do you think we can win?
Yeah, I really do, and I think if we go up up top, I think Sam Surridge in the channel with Dom Solanke. There's been too many games, in my opinion, this season where Dom Solanke just looked isolated up front. I know we got Dan Juma coming back, and obviously we got Jack Wilshere into the mix as well. So competition's going to be tight. But I do think we have to go to up top. Even if it's Josh King and Solanke, maybe Sam Surridge might be in just down the pecking order again. Now King's back to his best, but we're going to have to wait and see. But I'm going to predict a 3-0 win.
Excellent. Thanks for coming on, Morgan. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.
See you, Morgan.
Going next in line, just going to go just in line. I don't know how you're seeing it, but you're on the bottom next, Craig. So I know you've got a Reading preview coming up, but what's your short thoughts on what might happen Friday?
It's a must win. It's a must win. There's no ifs or buts. Just got to get 3 points from there. I think we'll probably go 4-4-2. I think Wilshere will start. I think Solanke will be up top. And it's going to be a toss-up, I think, between... I think it'll be Solanke up top, Wilshere just behind. And I think it'll be a toss-up between either King or Dan Juma on the left-hand side. It'll be quite interesting. But I think we'll go back for, hopefully, start Rico, Cookie in the middle. I would go Carter Vickers and then Stacey on the right hand side. But it's a must win. Like I said earlier on, they are a very good side. I know so much about them because I was born and bred in the town. My brother is a season ticket holder. I was born and bred there. Somebody had to be, didn't they? But yeah, on the opposition preview, you'll get to meet my brother as well.
Oh, check that out on. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be seeing double. Only he's a little bit better at art than I am. I'm a bit shy, to be honest.
Well, we'll check that out on Back of the Net. Craig, check into my preview on Thursday as well. And I'd like to see what you think about the team lineup when we try to predict it in the chat. So may catch you Thursday. And I'll speak to you soon, Craig.
Yep. All the best, mate.
That, mate.
All the best, guys. Cheers, Em.
Rich, Friday, what's your thoughts? How does JT play it?
I'd like to see 4-4-2, if I'm honest. I'd like to probably see. My issue is I want more than 11 players. I want Dan Juma on the pitch. I want King on the pitch. I want Solanke on the pitch. They just don't all fit into that formation. So it's a difficult one, but maybe Dan Juma being impact up.
Brilliant. Cheers for coming on, Rich. Really appreciate it. Good to see you.
And you.
See you, Rich.
Take care, guys.
We'll see you soon.
Take care, man.
Right. And John, what's your thoughts as we approach Friday?
Well, if we do play 4-4-2, we've seen before that it's a lower level league than what we had in last time around, but Wilshere doesn't really. A Wilshere Lewis Cook midfield 2 isn't really going to work, particularly against a team like Reading that are very strong, very powerful, particularly the likes of Lucas João, is prolific. And Elise isn't half bad either. And I can't remember the other winger that really sort of looked like he was doing a number on us in the last in their last game against Reading. I mean, we went 2-0 down against them in the 45 minutes for a reason. They're a good side. I don't think we can beat them in a 4-4-2. I think that leaves us too vulnerable in the middle, not strong enough. And really, playing in midfield 2 has not done us any good over the last few games. Even if we were playing with a back 3 or back 5, really, as it was, a midfield 2 doesn't allow us to play the triangles that we did today. Today, we got plenty of movement in midfield. Wilshere and Cook were able to link up with all the attackers. I want to see a 4-3-3. I want to see a team very similar to this. Dan Juma in, probably Solanke up front and Brooks on the right. Stacey coming in, Stacey bombing on, Rico bombing on. And probably the same midfield 3, possibly Lerma instead of Billing, but I think it'd be harsh to take Billing out again after a relatively good performance. It's not going to be easy. No. I think it'll be a draw, personally, but obviously I'll be ecstatic if it'll be a win. I'm going for 2-2. And, we'll leave it to see how JT gets us going, with or without Graham Jones.
Interesting. 2-2. Check into my preview show live on Thursday night. That'll be interesting, where you've just brought up there, John. So hopefully we'll see you there. All right. Cheers, coming on.
Cheers, John.
Cheers. Friday night then, Steve. What does JT do?
I'm in the same camp as John there, really. I don't think a 4-4-2 will be the go-to formation. I think, again, it leaves us too lightweight in midfield. And like John said, we struggled this season with the 2 in there. I think, I'm just going to say what John said, really. I'd love to see us stick to that formation. I think there'll be a couple of changes of personnel. And I just hope we, go at it with the mentality of trying to, outscore them. I know we sort of 4-2 was at home, it's sort of outscoring, but it was a different game then, but we were 2-0 down. But that second half, we just completely outplayed them. And that's what I like to see us getting back to.
And I know it was Crawley, but we won a football match. We've scored some goals, created loads of chances. So there is lots of positives to take into Friday.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah.
Good to see you, Steve. Hopefully you'll be watching the preview on Thursday. And I'll catch up with you soon. I might
give it a look.
I'll catch up with you soon. Cheers, mate.
All right, buddy. Cheers. Bye.
So thank you for everyone for joining in. We got that win tonight. We've gone on to the 5th round against Burnley at Turf Moor. I hope VAR doesn't play a major part again unless it's on our side. So, as I said, if you want to sponsor us, you can just head on that link and you can sponsor anything you wish. Any small donations go towards helping us provide these shows for you, making them better, more colourful, especially when we're in lockdown and we can't go to football matches. Thursday night then, 7 o'clock, I have a preview show as we look at Reading. I have Tom Jordan is one of my guests, and I also have an opposition guest as well. So it'll be a balanced debate. Thanks again for everyone for joining in. It's great that we got the result tonight. We'll see you all on Thursday. Up the Cherries. See you soon.